Well, well, well. Rings of Power. To say the show was a flop or a disaster would be an understatement. Now, let's check out a few articles.
Viewer discretion is advised.
The first article is from our favorite Screen Rant, and it reads, The Rings of Power avoids an orc problem from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You ask yourself, what orc problem? The hell are they rambling on about? The orcs were fine in Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings orcs are affected in the Fellowship when they became trivialized by the characters like Aragorn and Gimli. The Rings of Power fixes this mistake by making the orcs white and in hoods and can't go outside like a vampire. Yeah, they sure fixed it all right. The Rings of Power Season 1 was nothing more than laying down the groundwork. The fun comes next. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought the first season was pretty fun making fun of. You got Carindril, you have all the other crap that happened, a wizard who can't talk, the Hartfoots, who are just fucking awful, and Mariel, who goes blind, yet covers her eyes to tell people she's not blind. Of course, we have a quote from the showrunners. Although The Rings of Power includes much of its own original story, it is still closely based on the world and works of Tolkien. No, it's not. Assuming much of the show's audience will also be fans of Lord of the Rings, you've lost those people. You lost them before the show even came out. You took a fat L. Now the story will end. Where the story will end won't be much of a surprise. You mean it leads up to the Battle of the Last Alliance? So you kind of already, that's where everyone already thought you were going to end this piece of crap. But this is actually a major advantage for the show, because we can make up a bunch of stuff, because we're better than Tolkien. And then the final paragraph is, they mention fans on Reddit. When your fans are on Reddit, you've lost. It was debated. The Balrog from 2001's Fellowship, is it the same Balrog that was in Rings of Power? They're trying to connect that, by the way. They're trying to do a lot of connecting to Lord of the Rings, to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. They're attempting to do a lot of connections, because they want this show to be like the origins, the crappy origins of that. And I love the bottom part, by the way. It gives us this time to attend to some of the stuff we were lacking, such as visual effects. It's only fair to give a show the time it needs to find itself. You spent over $1 billion. $1 billion. By the way, the first season was filmed in New Zealand. The second season is being filmed in England, meaning the show is going to look drastically different. Also, nothing about the show looks good. The dialogue was crap. Let's just start with that. The costumes, the armor, the boob armor, the armor made of plastic, the armor printed on t-shirts. $1 billion, by the way. $1 billion. And then this article, also from Screen Rant, Lord of the Rings star reveals that he loved The Rings of Power. The original Lord of the Rings star in Hobbit, Billy Bode, Pippin, by the way, reacts to the Prime Video The Rings of Power, expressing his excitement for the Middle-earth series. Then it goes on. Now, one of the original members of the Fellowship weighs in on Prime's epic endeavor in an interview with Sci-Fi and many other, by the way. He did the same interview with Sci-Fi, with Screen Rant. They're all the fucking same, by the way. They're all the same. They like copy and paste each other. It's crazy. Who played Pippin in The Lord of the Rings. The movies. You're a journalist. Movies. Holy. It's called Grammar Check. Takes like 2 seconds. He confirmed that he watched The Rings of Power and loved seeing Tolkien's world, especially locations like Khazad-dûm and Numenor, come to life on the small screen. And then he gives a quote. It's long. It's a fucking book. Let's read it. I, as a fan of Tolkien, love to seeing all these places again. Poor Pippin. Some of them for the first time, like to see Khazad-dûm and Numenor. And all these places, he can't even name the rest of them. Some Tolkien fan, let me tell you. I think that gave me the most joy. I think the way they jump from one place to another, which makes no sense how they get from Numenor to across the ocean into Middle-earth, and to travel 3,000 miles, roughly, to Mount Doom, to a fake Mount Doom. Yeah, it makes sense. Let me tell you, it makes a lot of sense. We're at Numenor, then we'd be in the caverns of Khazad-dûm. I loved it. And seeing things like the rings for the first time. You saw the One Ring, you dumb buck. Joyful, I loved it. By the way, this bozo attacked the fans, calling us all bigots and racists before the show came out. Also, he was peddling merch, which most of the money for that merch went into his pocket. Good virtue singer there, Pippin. And finally, the Nelson ratings. And guess what? Rings of Power fell completely out of it. By the way, they expected this show to last months on the Nielsen's, and to continue to chart. Because like I said, this is a billion dollar show. This is an absolute disaster for them to fall out this fast. I mean, House of Dragons is still in there, which will probably make it even worse. Like, how worse can you get with this show? Like, how terrible? It has a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. Through its entire run, the only thing I saw was people making fun of it. And the occasional person, well, I loved it. It was so powerful. I got to see myself on screen. Oh, so sad. Also, apparently they're offering food in Brazil. If you binge watch The Rings of Power on Amazon Prime, they never learn. Thanks for watching. Until next time.